is making a series of videos where he calls people SJWs, retarded pussy beta bitch. It sounds like he calls out Andy Warski. Oh, so he was already calling out Andy Warski 6 months ago. All right. Oh, God. And he appears on the YouTube Science. Ugh. All right. I think we have an emotional case on our end. What does he have to say about Warski Live? Andy, your show is bad. All right, let's have a look.
What's up, everybody? Before the video starts, I want to take a second to thank my Gold Plus patrons for the month of February 2018. Thank you to...
Holy shit.
Diddle My Diddle, Irrational Liberal, The Lovely Martian, Jordan Ray Griffey, Tony Del Monte, The Always Wonderful...
I'm triggered.
Ready to Glare, Lee Burks, Dave Myers, Mr. Gabriel Lopez, Laura, Faithless Media...
Gabriel, who gave so much to the Andy Warski live show on Super Chats. You betrayed me, Gabriel.
And everybody's favorite Boop Be Doop. Thank you all for your generous contributions. Now, enjoy the video. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to yet
Holy shit, I feel like I'm back in high school. Oh my god. I'm afraid this guy is about to bully me.
another Hi, I Think I'm Real video. Imagine if I started every upload like that. What's the old saying? Alright, let me make one thing
Okay, emotions.
clear. I am absolutely gonna talk some shit in this video, but I am absolutely not gonna sit here and tell you that it's bad for Andy Warski to platform white nationalists, the alt-right, literal homophobes.
Oh, please don't start with everything you're not gonna do, please. That is cringy and beta.
And so on. He has the freedom to do with his channel what he sees fit.
Good moral. You know what? Telling what you won't do is either moral fagging or you're trying to inform the audience of some elementary thing that they might be looking for, that you want to tell them it won't happen.
If there are alarming ideas being propagated on his platform, then it is the responsibility of the onlookers to use their own voices to combat those ideas.
Holy shit, this guy reads like a 2 million view YouTubers.
They are so compelled, sort of like what I'm doing here. So in many ways, I should be thanking Andy Warski. His shit show live stream is a bountiful well of insanity, and that of course means more content for you. But I do have some choice words for the show itself. I have some choice words for some of the guests, and I have some choice words for Andy. Now, again, because I want to make this absolutely clear, I am not here to say that Andy Warski should stop doing what he's doing.
All right, we're done. Do I have to listen to the whole thing now?
Nor am I saying that he is in any way responsible for the thoughts and opinions of his audience. What he is responsible for is being the physical manifestation of mediocrity. What he is
a physical manifestation of mediocrity.
Responsible for is cultivating a culture of toxicity by embodying it. What he is responsible for is being a vindictive, thin-skinned little cunt. Now, Andy, if you're
a thin-skinned little cunt. All right.
Watching this, then I hope you can remember our private conversation from some months ago.
Oh, I've been a stalker. I know what you did last summer.
I am not interested in treating you with kid gloves, buddy. I made that clear, and although I believe that you're...
I won't spare you the details, son. I'm gonna be as straightforward as I can, all right? If you hang with this fag, you're gonna become a fag.
Your heart is in the right place and that you aren't a bad guy, that isn't going to stop me from sharing my thoughts, no matter how harsh. But I don't expect you to be butthurt about this. I mean, come on. You're Andy Warski, for God's sake. You've built an...
Boom. The reminder. Reminder that we are the winner and you're the loser complaining about us. That's a good place to start an argument.
Entire brand on saying some pretty alarming shit about other people. You've built an entire show, and I'm being real generous in calling it that, on fucking internet blood sports and on platforming some pretty insane shit. Surely a bit of a scathing response from a nobody like me won't make you too upset. And that is ultimately what this video is, a review of the Warski live show. But
something tells me it won't happen in the next 12 minutes.
Before we talk about that, let's have some fun.
Here's Hank Bauer. Takes a fastball. It's low and inside.
This guy puts some effort on his editing. Too bad we just spent 2 minutes with no content.
I'll be discussing 2 clips from 2 different Warski live episodes today, as they struck me as particularly egregious.
Something tells me this is gonna be cherry picking.
And frankly, I am not interested in combing through 17,000 more hours of inane shit post.
Ah, you don't want to go through the whole content, so you don't know what you're talking about. Let's hear it though.
Posting for this video. So let me tell you how this is going to work for this video and any other video I make responding to a Warski live shit show in the future. I'll take certain guest ideas and present my opposition. So don't sit there and say that I haven't done my due diligence or that I haven't addressed the topics at hand, because that is the express purpose of this first segment.
No, you've spent 3 minutes saying less than what I usually say in 10 seconds.
So give me a choice that an individual makes that you don't think it should be up to them.
Well, for instance, I think certain sexual preferences shouldn't be up to individuals.
Alright, starting out we have Pussy Joe Pesci talking about how certain individuals' sexual preferences, or as I put it, sexual orientation.
I think we've struck a sensitive chord here, guys. I think we triggered someone.
Should not be left to said individuals. This entire line of thinking predicates that sexual orientation.
Well, you don't agree with this, hi, I think I'm real, right? You don't agree that everything should be left to the individual in terms of sexual preferences. For instance, you don't agree that we should leave it to the individuals whether they like to fuck children or no. Right? I think I'm real. So you agree with the statement of Todd there.
Is an individual choice to begin with. We know that this is not the case. I mean, it's...
Oh, so we end up with this famous thing of the left where everything is cultural except homosexuality. It's not a choice of the individual. Well, it's a choice. I think I'm real. It has to be a choice. It's clear that I'm heterosexual, for example, but when I decide to fuck a woman, I decide to do it. I could do other things, right? So it's a choice. What you believe is that homosexuality is largely genetically determined, and I'll be frank with you, the answer is not entirely genetically determined. So you're fighting a lost battle already. Homosexuality is not 100% determined by genes.
It's insane that we're still having this discussion. I mean, researchers have observed higher rates of homosexuality between relatives on the same maternal line since the early 90s, heavily suggesting that there is a genetic component.
Okay, there is a genetic component, sure. Now, people can still choose not to have sex, and I guess that you recognize that we are not bound to listen to our instincts. And secondly, a genetic component doesn't mean that there is no possible cultural influence on it.
Sexuality also occurs in nature, having been observed in dolphins, chimpanzees, birds, and your dad. Plus,
means nothing, and my dad is not gay, sorry. You're projecting right now.
Let us not discount the lived experiences of homosexual individuals. The overwhelming consensus is that their sexual orientation was not a choice in the same way that your homosexual orientation was not a choice.
There's all sorts of people reporting that kind of stuff. People who are Christians will not say, I'm Christians because I was influenced by my daddy who was Christian too. They will tell you, I'm Christian because I discovered the truth of God at 8 years old. He came to me and I talked to him. No, the truth is they're Christian because their parents were Christian. So people have no insight into whether their feelings are of genetic origin or cultural origin. I'm sorry, that's not good data. And yes, I will deny every experience you come to me with. I don't give a shit.
Gay Todd.
So what would happen with the gay person?
That's really, there's a lot. Well, let's put it this way. In the United States, sodomy was outlawed in all 50 states, and nobody was too upset about it. Society worked pretty fine.
Notice how Gay Todd says sodomy. He's referencing anal copulation. He's speaking specifically about male homosexuality. Funny how these trad cucks always seem to forget that sodomy, by definition, also includes oral sex. Funnier still is how they also seem to forget that heterosexual couples engage in plenty of sodomy on their own. But Gay Todd isn't thinking about that. Gay Todd believes that men in romantic relationships with men engaging in sexual intercourse with men is a problem. So homosexuality isn't the problem, as women are more than capable of being homosexuals as well. It's just the men. This closeted trad cuck doth protest too much, methinks.
So gay people should...
Well, if he's opposed to ass sex, he's probably opposed to ass sex between women too. He hasn't specified on the stream, but he said sodomy is wrong. So that's his belief. It's not mine, but Todd has this belief that sodomy is wrong. He didn't say sodomy in men is particularly wrong. You have made this interpretation. You are free to do your interpretation, but I think Todd has an issue with anything entering the ass, whether it's a female ass or male ass.
Should go to jail.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's a danger to society.
Jesus, Joseph, and Mary. Alright, Gay Todd's entire position is founded on the romanticization of an idealized vision of a past American culture. He wants to restore that culture by advocating for totalitarian policy changes, infringing on the freedoms of American citizens and jailing them.
That's what he wants to do. And we had people express their opposition to his idea on the stream. So what are you going to bring that's new here?
The crime of being born a certain way. I'm sorry, Gay Todd, but I'm a hot-blooded American, and I happen to give a damn about my American Constitution.
I love when the leftists pose as American nationalists.
And the freedoms it guarantees me and my fellow countrymen. Freedom of expression is important to me. Equal protection is important to me. Due process is important to me. The prohibition of unreasonable searches and seizures is very...
All right. We all told them that. Now what?
Fucking important to me. You sit there with your no larynx having ass advocating for some actual fascist bullshit while claiming that it's all in the name of the preservation of American culture. Motherfucker, you don't give a damn about American culture.
Some street talking. This guy is a non-ironic version of me.
Your ideal vision for this country would tarnish American culture. Maybe you'd find better company in a country like Saudi Arabia, but they'd probably throw you in jail before your no testosterone having ass could say apple pie. Come on, you ain't fooling anybody, Gay Todd.
What the fuck is that? This guy is doing straight street talk. Your apple pie ass? Was it something like this? I didn't hear.
God.
So the thing is, most of the country, like unless you're one of like the 5 or 6 million people in the area out of 323 million people that are in sort of the prescribed area that I say should be part of the white ethnic state, you probably won't have to move at all. Like it's literally just Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, and like part of Oregon is the area claimed by King Ryan. So that's so the reality is very few people would even have to move. And also in practice, if like this is getting really into LARPy territory, pipe dream kind of stuff, But like in practice, in my proposal, all you do is you go into an area and you say, okay, this is an area that's already around 80% white. And then you say, no more non-white immigration. And a lot of non-whites will just move out just because they have jobs elsewhere and stuff like that. And if they're just moving out and not moving in, that's going to push that white number up. And then if you want to get even higher to say like 90, 95% white, then you just pay them to leave. And that's basically the plan. That's how I see it. I really don't think you need hardly any authoritarianism at all.
Hardly any authoritarianism at all. That
Yeah, the plan that he laid out relies on freedom of association, freedom of purchasing land. You don't need to kick people away with force. You can just buy their houses.
That's cute. That's real fucking cute, because any authoritarianism is too much for me, asshole. Let's start with some.
But he said there would be no authoritarianism needed, and he's right. The plan that he lays out does not require kicking people with force.
Numbers. 10.9% of Idaho is non-white. 15.9% of Wyoming is non-white. 10.6% of Montana is non-white. 11.3% of North Dakota is non-white.
Yeah, exactly. And if there were suddenly 20 million whites moving into these countries, these percentages would be down to very small numbers. And in fact, there would then be people voluntarily moving out. And there might be people willing to get their houses bought, and they would move out. That's not authoritarianism.
And 13.8% of South Dakota is non-white. Those are a lot of American families to pay to leave. American families with constitutional rights, by the way. Oh,
yeah, but he didn't say I would violate these constitutional rights. He said if they want to stay, they can stay. But we're going to flood these states with whites wanting to purchase land and houses and building stuff. What are you going to do?
We just ensured that non-white immigration was made illegal in white snowflake fairyland. Bullshit, sweetheart. Because I have the freedom and the right to...
My God. No one took your freedom away. You can stay if you want.
Move my 33.8% Native American ass to any state in this great nation. This is called freedom of movement under United States law, and it's governed...
Oh my God, please don't explain what freedom of movement is.
Governed primarily by the Privileges and Immunities Clause of the Constitution, which states the citizens of each state shall be entitled to all privileges and immunities of citizens in the several states.
Yeah. Go ahead and move out. You're free to move out. You're also free to stay. But there's going to be 20 million white nationalists around you. Can you handle it? Snowflake, sweetheart, apple pie, darling?
But you race cucks don't care about that, do you? No, of course not. Infringing on an American citizen's rights and freedoms is only a means to an end. Let me ask all of you something. If you were to stroll up to a non-white household in, let's say, Wyoming, where almost 16% of the population is non-white, and offered the family living in that household money to leave the state and never return, only to receive a refusal as a response, what would you do? How much of that teeny-weeny authoritarianism that you would hardly have to use at all would you enact in order to get your white safe space?
There is no authoritarianism in the suggestion that Ryan Falk presented. He's talking about moving in, overpopulating some states, and letting stuff go the way it will go. And I'm sure there will be plenty of black people just leaving out of not liking what they see. So be it. That's not authoritarianism. No right was impeded upon.
You motherfuckers don't care about freedom. You motherfuckers don't care about the Constitution. You silly pricks.
I actually do care, but the way you treat me and the way you treat these guys, I almost want to tell you that I don't give a shit about liberty. You're almost making it appealing for me to be a fascist. Unfortunately, I'm not. I'm a libertarian. Too bad.
Don't even care about America. But worse than all of this is Andy Warski's follow-up, if you can even call it that. Andy responds to this suggestion of establishing a white ethno-state in the American Northwest by talking about social justice warriors rallying around Black Panther, and then changing the subject entirely to a Sargon debate.
in the kind of
Ideally.
world we're living in, though, with how politically tense it is, and the very serious anti-white narrative going around. Do you think that would ever happen? That's the one thing I can't foresee, like the way people just get super. I mean, look at like Black Panther, the movie that just came out. One bad review, and everyone's jumping on that reviewer, saying he's racist for disliking a superhero movie, and it gave it a 3 out of 5.
First off, I think it's just a small, highly vocal people who are jumping on that. I don't think that's a.
You think it's just a hype? I mean, it's all of Rotten Tomatoes, though. Like all of Rotten Tomatoes. In fact, one of the reviews on the blurbs of the positive reviews was Black Panthers matters. I was just like, ugh. We got Red Elephant here. What's up, man?
What's up, man? Hey.
How you doing, man? Nice to see you. He was there yesterday during the Sargon stream, which actually question for all of you here, what you all think about that stream yesterday, that debate.
You could fit a full-size kitchen appliance in the space where Andy's spine is supposed to be.
All right, street talk is really hot, but not when you can see from your eyes that you're reading from a computer. Now, Andy keeps talking about the ethno-state, so of course the conversation will change. But the fact is, we do 2, 3, 4-hour streams. It's covered with everything that Andy believes about the ethno-state and does not believe, and opposes and does not oppose. So of course he's gonna talk about a recent movie, because if he was to repeat his freaking opinion on this, people will get bored. You haven't watched the entire stream. You haven't watched where Andy expresses his view on the ethno-state. So why do you act as if he was turning the conversation away when he addressed the subject in full in many streams?
For Brooklyn, 1 run on 1 hit.
You see, I tried to do this once, back when I was more concerned with being fair and collected. I had a criticism of Andy because he was behaving like a fucking jackass, but I did everything that I could to be...
You broke my heart, Andy. You did not consider my first critique. Now I have to go hard on your ass.
tactful and gentle. I'm not interested in doing that anymore. I'm not interested.
This guy has taken a different path, all right? He's done with civility. I'm gonna take 2-minute clips of your show and I'm gonna debunk the fuck out of them, motherfuckers! Are you triggered yet, snowflakes? All right, let's keep watching.
Interested in suppressing my unfiltered, honest opinions for the sake of respecting
Old Andy footage. Oh my god. A love story. This is a Romeo and Juliet tragedy. Andy could not take the first critique of I Think I'm Real. And now the blood is flowing.
some asshole who's built his entire brand on being an asshole. Let me predicate this final segment by saying this much. I don't believe that Andy Warski is a bad person. I certainly don't hate him, nor do I
Oh god, we're back to the soft talk.
believe that he should be silenced or deplatformed. I am not afraid of the ideas he hosts on his show, as I've demonstrated in this video. I will perform my due diligence and attack those ideas head on, as is my responsibility as a voice in this genre. As a matter of fact, let me announce this much early. As far as I'm concerned, the shit show that is Warski Live will be as much of a content cow for me as Riley J. Dennis was for every single fucking anti-SJW channel through 2016. So keep this cesspit going, Andy.
All right, you're doing what exactly every YouTube creator is doing except Warski Live right now. You're gonna take the same attitude with the alt-right that you've taken with SJWs because you think they're gonna be as easy to debunk. You're gonna hurt yourself, my friend.
Because we shouldn't be afraid of white nationalists that think that they're going to stroll up to the American government and pass legislation that'll carve out the American Northwest as a white ethno-state, therefore violating every single non-white American's right to freedom of movement, protected.
No, they're free to move. We're happy if they move.
By the Privileges and Immunities Clause of the United States Constitution. Because we shouldn't be afraid of hyper-traditionalist pussies who advocate for the incarceration of LGBT individuals simply for being LGBT, thereby violating their Fourth Amendment right to be protected from.
Yeah, Todd is not even an ethno-statist. He's not even an alt-righter. So you're mixing the two IDs pretty bad there.
Unreasonable search and seizures, their Fifth Amendment right to due process, their 14th Amendment right to equal protection, and the list goes on. And because
oh yeah, it goes on. They can dispose of all these rights. In fact, the freedom of movement will be particularly protected by the white ethno-state. We will encourage movement. You will move in a way that you've never previously moved. There's literally movement that we're going to have you do that you didn't even think were possible.
Because worse than all the horrible guests, all the horrible shouting matches, all of the horrible comments, worse than all of that, this show fucking sucks. It's bad. Warski Live is a bad show. I tried to give it a chance, Andy. I honestly did. There was a moment, just a fleeting moment, where I thought that I might derive some enjoyment from what you were doing, but that faded away almost as quickly as it came. Look, I honestly believe that, and I'll say this over and over again, your heart is in the right place. You saw a changing landscape, so you adapted to survive. That's completely understandable, and honestly, I'm happy to see you staying afloat. I'm not here to lambast you for your success, dude. You do you. Your show is a 250-pound pile of murder shit, but you do you. What does start to rub me the wrong way is the vindictive and poisonous nature that you've exhibited as of late. I want them to leave me alone and stop being babies. I have legit asked them to stop. I get their criticisms, and I think that should be it, but every other day it's tweets coming at me from the same people.
Harassment is threats of violence, but it's also
Or shoot.
the day-to-day grind of you're a liar, you suck.
I'm sorry, Andy, but can I just take a second and remind you of who you are and what you built your entire brand on? Your entire...
Yeah, maybe he changed. Maybe he doesn't have the horseshoe patterns that you have in your brain. Maybe he thinks that the SJWs were stupid, but that it's not necessarily stupid to not want to be abused on Twitter. What about that? I think I'm real.
entire appeal was that you would unflinchingly, unapologetically, uncaringly call whoever...
Oh my God. My little Andy. When he was so young. Oh, that is so cute. He has the intellectual glasses. Was he stuttering back then? Because he looks intellectual visually.
you wanted, a cunt or a faggot or whatever. Oh, you sure love to dish it out. But the moment that someone pushes back, well, seems like you're as fond of that block button as all those pesky social justice warriors, huh? Just a side note, both my blocked and muted lists are completely clean. So tell me, who's the soy boy now? And buddy, your show is mediocre at best. There's no format, no musical cues, no visual cues, no segments.
If it had no format, there wouldn't be dozens of people talking about us, making videos about us, making 2-hour reviews about us. We're inventing the new format, dude. No format is the new format. What I'm trying to explain to you is that the format is to have no format.
Nothing. It's a vacuous shit show riding on sensationalism. It depends solely on the draw of strangers sitting in their own respective rooms, shouting at their own respective computer screens for 4 hours at a time. I won't shame you, viewers.
There are entire 2 hours and 3 hour streams without a single shouting.
If you're into that shit, but it is absolutely not for me. I'm someone who recognizes and admires integrity. Being a flat, empty canvas upon which authoritarian pussies get to impose their anti-freedom politics strikes me as the antithesis of integrity. But you do you. Honestly, from one creator to another, I'm glad to see success.
All right, thanks. Bye-bye.
Happening on this platform. Truly, I am. But I'm going to continue to tear apart your guests. I'm going to continue to tear apart your vapid show. And I'm going to continue to come after you because it's...
Why don't you come after Papa JF? Why don't you explain how Papa JF is ridiculous and an authoritarian pussy? Or am I a good thing in the Warski Live pile of crap?
It's easy because it's fun, because your defensiveness is an indication of how much of a delicate toddler you really are. Hey, it's just blood sports after all. Nothing personal, sweetheart. That's all I have to say about that.
Oh my god. The sweetheart stuff is too much. Like, I feel like I should be sexually triggered, but I'm not. Because it's not a beautiful American waitress telling me that. All right, hi, I think I'm real. I'd love to hear your IDs if you want to interact with me on the stream or on Warski Live. I'd love to hear that. But as far as your critique of Todd goes, we did that very critique against Todd. That's why we were laughing about his view on the show. I'm not an authoritarian. As far as your critique of Ryan goes, Ryan did not suggest any formation of any sort of authoritarian measures. What he meant by barely any authoritarian measures, he meant that, of course, you can consider that any state is authoritarian because they have a police, they enforce a law. So any state is authoritarian. But his plan does not rely on any authoritarian measure that surpasses the current rights that you have in America. But thanks for your critique. It's totally empty, though. Bye-bye.